Hello, happy Tuesday. How is everybody doing today? I hope you're doing good. Yes, I'm popping on here again in the middle of the afternoon. This is a time when I find that I can get couple of things done usually. Daycare is kind of snoozing and it gets a little quiet, so I have about 25 to 30 minutes to get a few things done. And if I kind of take the time during lunch to get all my supplies gathered around, then I can get things thrown together and at least start the baking process. Guys, I'm doing something by request today. Some people were asking me yesterday, not really fond of the chocolate, the brownies, whatever. How can I make a low-carb zucchini loaf of bread? That's what I'm doing today. I have the zucchini here. I am going to use it up. I'm actually going to bake a few extra loaves as the day goes on or the evening goes on, and I'm going to pop them in the freezer and save them for later. But guys, it's Jan here. Like I said, tune in if you're curious. Hi, Jewel. Thank you. If you're catching me live and you can see that red live up in the corner, that's great. Please type live in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. And if you're catching it later on and it says was live up there, that's great too. It just means you're catching the Facebook replay. That's wonderful. I love it. Jewel, thank you for sharing. I love anybody, hey Nancy, taking time out of their day to tune in and see what I got going on. And like I said, yesterday when I did the zucchini brownies, I had a lot of people saying, hey, chocolate's not my thing. So today I'm doing bread. I already started it here a little bit, just so you guys don't have to listen. I have a couple of eggs in here. I have some granular sweetener. Guys, this is what I used, okay? It's the monk fruit with allulose. I love the allulose blend, especially in baking, because the allulose will actually kind of brown up like it's supposed to brown up. So with cookies and the breads and things like that, you get to see that golden brown look where if you're using like a monk fruit and erythritol blend, it doesn't brown quite the same, but that's okay. I mean, I'm okay with it. Either one is fine. We'll just put it that way. So I've got eggs. I've got some olive oil in there. I have to look at my list here. I have the sweetener and I have some just vanilla extract in there, guys. And I beat that all together. Now, what am I going to do? I'm going to add in my dry stuff. So today, again, I'm using an almond flour, coconut flour combination, okay? I do like to mix the two together. I think it gives a great flavor. It gives a great texture and all of that. Now, guys, if you have a favorite recipe that is not low carb, that uses, say, all-purpose flour, just know that you can substitute out almond flour cup for cup. The sweetener, if it calls for sugar, you can substitute this out cup for cup. So I'm going to try to give you guys a lot of pointers here today if I can remember. So, but like I said, I love the mixture. I love coconut flour. I love the almond flour. And to mix them together is a great idea for me, okay? Hi, Angie. Let's see. I'm going to add a little salt. Guys, I don't usually measure the salt. I figure I'm not worried about it too much. I don't want to get too much in there, but this particular recipe, which, guys, this is already in my group, Diabetic Eats with Jan and Dave. Zucchini bread. Now, I have a ton of different ones in there. Not a ton. I have several different ones in there, okay? I have one that's a snickerdoodle. I have another one that takes a little bit different combinations of flours and stuff like that. This one happens to be my favorite, okay? Other than the snickerdoodle, I do really like that one. So, salt, I'm adding in, you know what? I'm adding in baking soda. And I just noticed there's a typo in there. It says baking powder on the other side in the directions. I'm going to have to go in and fix that. So adding in some baking soda and some cinnamon. I love the warmth that cinnamon gives. And I'm just about out of cinnamon. You know what? Whatever, it is what it is. That's kind of the way I like extra cinnamon this does call for a half a tablespoon. I think that's probably pretty close, but you know what? I'm gonna grab my other cinnamon because I love cinnamon. Did I say I love cinnamon? This one's brand new. But, guys, and you know, you can adjust some of my recipes the way you like them. I loved it the other day. Somebody shared one of the recipes I made. I love it when people do that. Guys, if you're making my recipes out there, please, please, please. This was a half a teaspoon. I needed a half a tablespoon. That's why I'm dumping so much in there. So bear with me. Please, though, if you are... if you're making my recipes, I'd love to have you share them. Even if you share them on your own personal page, tag me or tag the group, Diabetic Eats with Jan and Dave. That group, Diabetic Eats with Jan and Dave, guys, that is a group that I started because of the struggles that we had, and then we started having success. When you have success, guys, I just feel like it's okay to share with others because I know where we were, and I don't want anybody else to feel lost and alone. Hi, Irma. Lost and alone, quite like that. So I like to give back. Thank you, Irma. I appreciate it. I'm going to check off here, guys. But like I was saying, that group, Diabetic Eats with Jan and Dave, you don't have to be diabetic to be in there. If you're looking to start eating healthier, cut out some of the junk, cut out some of the additives, the preservatives, the colorings, the flavorings, all those things that we really don't need, and just get a little healthier. You can be in that group, okay? If you're in that group, please invite your friends and family. Hi, Robin. Because that's the only way that the information can get out there, okay? So, like I said, I love sharing the information. I've got everything in here, guys. I'm going to give this a quick mix while I'm chatting with you. Okay? So, this is one of my favorite recipes, guys. But like I said, if you have a favorite, maybe from your mom or your grandma or somebody like that, and you want to swap out the flours and stuff, you know, like I said, that group is where I share the information. If you want to be in the group, drop group in the comments. I will get back to you. Okay, now I'm going to let this sit for just a few minutes because the coconut flour likes to take its time to absorb moisture. So I'm going to let it have its few minutes to absorb moisture while I sit here and talk to you guys, okay? Yesterday, if you caught my live, this is what I made, guys. Okay? Zucchini brownies. They're very cake-like. I didn't mention that yesterday. The recipe says if you like a more crumbly brownie, you can use 1 egg. We like a more cake-like brownie, okay? And if you look, yes, there's the zucchini in it. Hi, Peg. Oh, we had rain overnight. So, so moist. I put the frosting on them last night.
You are eating my brownies? How dare her eat my brownies?
I got busted. They're not your brownies. We share, remember?
They're damn good.
Sorry. Hey, Linda, how are you? Hi, Janelle. He ate the other half of my piece. Stinker. So, you know, my daughter came in yesterday. She was munching on them. My grandson comes in. They're munching on them. So, guys, the thing that I love is that people who maybe don't eat low carb or keto, a lot of people dog on us. I'm not going to lie, because they're like, and it's like, whatever. You guys didn't worry about me when I was eating Snickers and potato chips every day when I walked out of the grocery store. But now that I'm trying to get healthy, you're going to tell me I'm going to die from it? No, I disagree. I'm going to stick with my lifestyle, guys. That's the way I am. Okay, this is getting thick. Okay, guys? So the coconut flour has had its time. Hi, Debbie. Had its time to sit. Now I've got a cup of grated zucchini. And guys, I grated this all yesterday. It's just been sitting in my fridge. So I'm going to mix this zucchini in. and then I'm going to go into the cake pan with it. And like I said, I'm going to bake up some more of these. I only have one, not cake pan, loaf pan, okay? I only have one loaf pan, so I do them one at a time, but that's okay. I'll just mix up another one here. Now, I am going to give you a little tip here too with the loaf pan. I like to use butter instead of spray. It does say to pour it into a prepared pan. This is the way I prepare my pan. I get the butter way up the sides, and I love it with the butter because I feel like the butter adds a little bit of flavor to that loaf of bread, okay? So you guys are getting my tips today too, and my little tricks. That's what I do. I love it. And you saw me, I put in more cinnamon than what it calls for. If you don't like cinnamon, leave the cinnamon out. It's still gonna be good. If you want some other flavor in there, add that flavor in. Hi, Bev. Hey, Debbie. So I'm gonna dump this in here. I've got my oven preheated to 325, and this is gonna bake for, a lot of it depends, guys, on how wet your zucchini is, okay? I have 40 to 60 minutes on the recipe, and I know that seems like a huge gap, but the thing is, zucchini is not all the same, just like we as humans are not all the same. So you want to bake it as long as you need to. Thank you so much, Irma. I appreciate that. But you don't want to over bake it. So I usually start checking at 40 minutes and kind of see where it's at. Okay? You're gonna bake it until you can put a toothpick in the middle. Sorry about that. The train's coming by. Never a dull moment in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. So anyway, whatever. It might be a little noisy. I apologize. I'm sorry. When you put a toothpick in the middle and it comes out clean, it's done. Okay? You're going to take it out, put it on a wire rack to cool so that this bottom can cool too. So make sure you're getting it up so it gets air circulation. Put it on the wire rack, and then later on, roll it out. Okay? Super duper simple, super duper easy. Like I said, I have more zucchini grated up, so I am going to make a couple more loaves of this. One loaf we'll keep out, and we'll eat. I'll probably put it in the fridge. We are going camping this weekend, so I'll probably take it along. It'll be a nice snack. These are the types of things that we do take with us and stuff like that. So if you get the snackies, you know, say you're sitting on the bank of the lake and you're like, I'm kind of hungry. I got a snacky. Go to the camper, get a slice of bread, and you're set. I mean, low carb to keto, great options. You even get some veggies in there. And, you know, what more could you ask for? So, guys, I love when people talk to me and say, you know, hey, I'd like to know this or I'd like to know that. You can private message me. Now, I've had a lot of people asking about the weight loss group, and Facebook is being kind of naughty to me, and they're not letting me send them a message. If you are not a friend of mine and only follow me, it considers that a message request. So if you have questions for me, the best thing to do is to send me a message. Now, if you don't know how to do that, tap my name where it says Jan Rogers, and it'll say something about message. And you can send me a message. That's the best way to get a hold of me. And like I said, I don't know what's going on here lately with my Facebook. I try to do things and they're like, you can't do that. So you guys try to send it to me, and I don't, you know, like I said, it's crazy. But anyway, also, you know, I've been talking about that weight loss group. Today or tomorrow's, if you want to have products here to start that weight loss group, today, tomorrow is going to have to be about the end of the line to get those ordered and be able to start with the products. But, you know, meal plan, fun and games, private group on Facebook where you can, you know, people share their recipes, people share what they're eating, people share tips and tricks. it's a total cheering on of, hey, you know, hey, Nancy, I've lost this much weight, I've done this, blah, blah, blah. It's great, okay? So if you need in the weight loss group, drop that in the comments. We will be using, yes, products. But if you need more information on those products, drop info in the comments and I'll get back to you about that. But I'm going to get on out of here. My time is limited when I get on. So anyway, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. If you have suggestions or things that you want me